This is Michael Miller. I'm live with Miami's Community News, and our guest today is Frank Calderon from Solid Waste Department of Miami-Dade County. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Let's describe the difference between littering and dumping, right? And if we could give some examples along the line of like throwing it out your window, that would be littering.
Littering, yeah. Technically, and legally, they're both pretty much the same. The difference is littering is usually thought of as smaller amounts, something you could flick out a car window, for example, as opposed to illegal dumping, which now you're talking about, a pickup truck or a vehicle having to take it out, stop the vehicle and take a larger item out, basically.
Sometimes we each have to be taught how to deal with the stuff in our cars and trucks. My wife humiliated me yesterday. She said, "You eat in your car so many times, look at all this garbage." I said, "That wasn't all the time, that was once." So I try to keep one of those plastic bags that I get from the drugstore, put all the stuff in there, and then once every whatever, I collect it and I throw it out. Otherwise, I may have opened the door and might have scooted out the street. And scoot out the truck and onto the street. The county has to pay staffers to go on the street and clean up all this stuff that's there. That's littering.
Yes, we have staff that goes out that in certain areas. We call them litter crews. There's also we have staff at a certain bus benches, not all of them, but we're responsible for taking the garbage in the garbage cans there. And then you have Public Works, which does street sweeping on whatever. I don't know what their schedule is like when they do that. So all those things, that all costs money to do, and it's something that we end up having to do because there are people that litter, unfortunately.
So when we see the bus benches, in the old days it just used to be uncovered, but now they have some that are covered.
Yes.
If some soul is out there sitting in that in a place that's a wreck, they should call the sign company. Is that correct?
They can call 311.
They call 311.
Yeah.
I'd say, "I'm sitting over here on whatever street it is, whatever, I'm waiting for a bus. This place is a disaster. It needs to be cleaned up."
Yeah.
And they'll clean it. They need to. Because if they don't, they're going to get a letter from somebody's department. Yeah. So we know that in different parts of Miami-Dade County, littering and or illegal dumping occurs more often and in bigger quantities. What are some of those hot spots?
Unfortunately, they're all over the place. We do have several hot spots we're aware of where it just regularly happens. We do try to monitor those a little bit more. But it's unfortunate that it's pretty much countywide. There isn't one area of the county, one corner of the county where it happens more than other places. It happens all over the place.
So I live out west, and I wanted to compliment the county and our local commissioner for making it cleaner than it used to be. And you never know why, all right? But there's certainly less people. It looks like less people are dumping stuff that's there. So my hat's off to everybody from taking it to wherever it is. So let's talk about when people have a lot of garbage at their house and they need to dispose of it. Sometimes people, if it's around their house, they can put it in the green dumpster if it's appropriate. But let's talk about on chemicals and it means old gas cans and oil cans, old
and lithium
lawnmowers,
batteries.
Batteries, that's a big deal.
Lithium batteries, yeah, right. Specifically, yeah. We have 2 home chemical collection centers, permanent, one in Doral and one in Southdade, right by the Southdade landfill, as a matter of fact, on the same campus, just as a different entrance. We'll take old home chemicals that you're not using anymore. We'll take lithium batteries, which is a big one nowadays, especially, and they can be the button batteries. They make standard batteries that say lithium. If they say lithium on them, they should not go in the garbage. They should be brought to us. Paints, pesticides, old fertilizer, old gasoline. If you use lawnmower tools and the gasoline started going bad, you can bring it to us. Use motor oil, things like that. And besides the 2 centers, we now have a series of mobile events going through November of this year. I believe the weekend before Thanksgiving is the last one this year. It's posted on our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste. And you can find where we have these events. They're in different, our TRC is a little bit more convenient. I can tell you my experience is I live just west of here, eastish Kendall, between Kendall and Westchester, more or less. So going to either of the centers is a little bit of a drive for me. But they've had events at the closest TRC to me, which is the Sunset Kendall, the one on 107th Avenue, and hop, skip, and a jump from my house. I take it there, drop it off, and I'm done with it.
So if people are confused about which batteries, they could collect them all together, put them in a bag, and take all of them over to the
Yes.
center.
Generally speaking, like the alkaline and the heavy duty, the typical, Energizer, Duracell, Rayovac, the AA, AAA, C, and D, those can go in the garbage as long as they don't say lithium and as long as they're not rechargeable. If they are, then they should be brought to us.
So, and people should not take those batteries and flick them out the window.
No.
Okay,
By all
tell
means,
us, tell us some things can happen when something is that solid and that.
Just you can, something that's all you can cause. If you hit somebody, you can cause damage. You can or harm them. Or, hit the vehicle behind you, or whatever. If you're not watching, it can be kicked up and damage a vehicle or hurt somebody. It can. And even assuming it's not it's the like I mentioned, the standard alkaline batteries that are okay to dispose of. Even if you do that, it's litter on the street. It's another piece of something that can get clogged in the storm drains and cause problems there. So the next time you have flooding in front of your house because the storm drain is clogged, remember if you littered, that you contributed to that, basically.
Now the school's about to be back in session another couple of weeks. Maybe some of the schools want to have community projects. They could go to their local county commissioner and say, listen, we'd like to keep this part of the street clean. It's a great thing for people to do. Is that the right direction to go to their county commissioner?
We'll work with them. We have a program called Let's Clean Things Up, where we'll work with them if they want to do a street cleanup in there. As long as it's the public right of way, it's an area that we serve, we will be happy to help out.
And certainly that's a good training ground to create non-litterers and non-dumpers, because they go, look at all the stuff that's there. So I know that frequently the county has caught people doing illegal dumping, which is they open up their trucks or just throw it in their trunks. So tell us, how the county catches them and what can occur.
Well, there are a number of different things that they do to catch them. They can investigate the pile. They can find evidence in the pile that'll lead them to the person that did the illegal dumping. We've had cases where you mentioned in the past a case where they found a receipt for a fast food restaurant. They went to the fast food restaurant, asked to use their camera to take a look, and they found the person that did it, and they caught that person. We've had cases where we have our own cameras. Some of them are cameras that we leave out there and we get recording, and then it's reviewed later, and then we find people that way. We also have live cameras that are monitored by an enforcement officer, and they've seen people in progress, and they have actually dispatched the police. And yes, if it's a big enough situation, if it's a commercial vehicle, no matter the amount, it's automatically considered serious enough where you could even get arrested. If you're not in a commercial vehicle and it's a big enough amount, you could also get arrested that way, or if you're a repeat offender. So you can subject to arrest and subject to fines that go up to about $2,500. They start at about $250, $260 and go all the way up to about $2,500.
So repeat offenders, I'm sure there are plenty. All right, they put a lot of things in jeopardy. They're going to have a very terrible day. It's going to cost them a bunch of money. And each time you get a ticket, if you will, the next time it
increases.
It increases. And theoretically, maybe one day their truck could get seized.
Oh, yeah, the vehicle can get seized. That's another thing that can happen if you get caught dumping illegally.
And even if the county has to tows it, that's going to cost them a bunch of money. And it's going to sit over there, wherever it is, for a couple of days before they can go get it. So... And if we see somebody dumping stuff, and we could just see him just hauling it up, it's not the other way around, not them taking it and putting it in. What can a concerned citizen do?
If you see it in progress, it is a crime. You can report it tonight. You can call 911 and tell them you see it in progress. You see somebody illegally dumping, do not confront them. Because you don't know how they're going to react.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Call 911. If it's after the fact, if all you see is a pile of stuff that wasn't there, you left your house to go out and do something, you come back and all of a sudden there's a pile of garbage at the end of your street or in front of your house or something like that, but there's nobody around, call 311. But if you see them actually dumping, you can call 911.
in the old days, we used to get dead animals that were part of a Santeria ritual, and we had a hard time getting the county at that point because we didn't quite know who to call to come pick up the dead animal. In that case, it was goats and chickens, but it's probably more dogs and cats that were killed. What does a citizen do if they have right outside their home a dead animal?
Well, the easy thing now is that it doesn't matter if you don't know the department. You can just call 311 to report it, but it'll be animal services that comes and picks them up.
So we know that we're right almost in the middle of hurricane season. And so give us your friendly advice concerning bulky waste and what it means.
Well, we always tell people before the season, if you have, you have vegetation in your yard that could potentially in a storm fall and cause damage or anything else, the time to have gotten rid of it was really before the hurricane season started. Last week I was here and I told people there's still a little bit of time. There was nothing imminent within the next 7 days, according to the National Hurricane Center. This week, the picture's a little bit different. There's something out there brewing. We don't know if it's going to come our way or if it's going to turn into anything, but the potential is there. So it's going to be tricky. If you're going to do something, if you're going to do something with it as far as the vegetation and call in for a bulky pickup, you need to move fast before anything actually starts to threaten. And we get to a point where we have to not allow people to make appointments because we know that we have so many piles out there that we have to pick up before anything. So
that's the concern. If the storm is coming and I haven't booked it, all right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to book it.
You may not be able to. You may find that all the appointments, if something actually is, heaven forbid, something actually is heading our way and they say it's going to come in 4 days and you decide now is the time to do this, you're going to find that all the appointments may not be, you may not have an appointment available for 3 or 4 weeks after the storm, is supposed to come our way. So that's why we tell people to get it done as early as possible.
And I'm not sure at what point damage to trees starts, but it does start, and stuff can be through the air or it can fall straight down.
Yeah.
And so when we look around our house, every couple months, how's that one growing and how's that? My biggest concern is our neighbors' trees that are gigantic, and we already know. We know exactly they're going to fall, all right, or go through the wind, and we're in the pathway of that. And so I think that people really need to look and decide what they're going to do. I have no problem going to my neighbors and say, listen, could you do that? And a lot of neighbors do, and others go, well, too bad. So you just got to learn to live with it and figure out what you're going to do to protect your property. And so if somebody's going to go, they have the hurricane season here, they have bulky waste, they can go and as far as the chemicals around their house, they can put it together, take it to the
center or one of the mobile events that are listed on our website, or call 311.
And then let's talk, if we could, about recycling. Yesterday I had some cardboard boxes and I had to remind myself, put it in the blue box, put it in the blue cart, because I'm really not there. As much as this conversation, I think we could, in our household, we could probably increase it by 50% or so without a particular problem. But the habit for people over the age of 50 is whatever it is. And we have people that are really recyclers and the other people aren't so much. But tell us the things that can go into the blue carts.
Well, cardboard boxes, as you mentioned, we ask that you break them down and don't jam them in too tight, because then when it comes time to empty the cart out, it won't empty out easily. Cardboard boxes, paper, plastic bottles can be plastic or glass. The only type of plastic we accept basically is bottles, with the exception of we'll now accept yogurt tubs and butter tubs. Went blank there for a moment. Metal food cans, food and beverage cans, which are made out of metal, will accept those. Cartons, like milk cartons, juice cartons, will accept those.
So tell us about TV dinner containers that you put in the microwave.
No, now here's the thing.
You should bring that up.
The box it comes in is fine, but the container itself, whether it's the old one, the aluminum one that used to stick in the conventional oven, which I don't even know if they make those anymore, or the plastic that goes in the microwave, no, it's not the right type of plastic.
It's an interesting thing. It's such I don't know how many of those plastic containers are used, but millions. All right. And nobody wants them yet, or just in this area?
That specifically, I don't know, but we can't take it in our program. It's possible, with a little bit of research on the internet to find a place that'll take them, but we can't take them in our
just
program.
for clarity, the reason you don't take them because it doesn't dissolve is quickly enough.
Part of it is processing the plastic bottles, and even we're talking about jugs, plastic
Right.
jugs, just the type of material they're made out of, the specific type of material they're made out of, for one thing. And the other part of the equation is that just the process of taking these items. Remember, people mix them up in the cart. They don't separate them out necessarily. When it comes to our contractor, they have to separate things out, and that type of plastic is not going to be easy to separate. Not to mention, it's not the right type of plastic.
I gave that conversation to my wife the other day. Thank you very much. She almost threw me out of the house. But again, so the container, which is a cardboard type,
The cardboard box is fine.
but the black, if you will,
The little plastic
that you can put in the microwave
dish
for
thing,
5
yeah.
minutes. I
Yeah,
bet all
no.
those tests have been done. Put in for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, see what happens. Probably little or nothing. It's really amazing that we could create those things, and we say it's okay to eat from it, but it is what it is. Okay, so and let's talk about on the green carts. I noticed some of my neighbors the tops were broken, and if somebody has a broken top or a broken wheel, what can they do?
311. Now that's an issue that we get it so much, and people don't know what to do, and it's like, just call through. It actually says that on some of the I don't know if it's all or some of the carts, it actually tells you to call 311. But if you have any type of damage on your cart, just call 311. That's all you have to do.
And sometimes people need an extra cart. So tell us about what they need to do and how much it is.
Well, okay, so if it's for garbage, either one they can call 311, whether it's the garbage cart or the recycling cart. But for garbage, there's going to be an extra fee. I don't know the exact amount. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's about $150. And it's an annual fee. And that's because based on the fact that you're going to be producing more garbage, it needs to be handled. The recycling cart, one additional cart is provided free of charge. All you have to do is call 311. They're going to send you a form to fill out, the one-page form with only a few things that they ask, and you send it back, and you should get your new card within a matter of a few weeks.
Just for clarity, it's because it's not the price of the cart. They're paying for the service for the extra,
For garbage, yes.
for a year.
Yes.
And so recently we paid $154, but that was twice a week.
Yes.
Times 52.
Times 52. Yes.
So it's over 100, right?
Yes.
So it's like nothing. All right. To
It
do that.
ends up being $1 and change per
Yes.
pickup.
When I was in college, maybe before that, there was a garbage strike in the city of Miami. So when my father's Volkswagen bus took the back seats out of it, collected people's garbage, and got paid. It was a bunch of money back then. So anyway, so people can get extra carts, and you'd pay for that. If your green card is broken, you'll repair it or replace it as
Yes.
needed. Blue cards, they can get one extra card, no charge, by
Yes.
dialing 311.
311, yes.
And green cards picked up twice a week,
Yes.
depending on the area.
Yes. Well, it's picked up twice a week, and then it's just a matter of whether it's Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday.
And just for the people that haven't heard it yet, how many pickups does Miami-Dade County do a week for green cards?
So we have about 350,000 customers. I think we're a little bit shy of that. And each of them gets picked up twice, so it comes to about 700,000 roughly.
So
Pickups.
almost 3 million pickups a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably more because 4 weeks in a month, 700,000.
Yep. So that's extraordinary. And I know frequently the department needs some assistance. I mean, to hire people, where do they go for that?
miamidade.gov/jobs. It's not just our jobs, although you can just select solid waste if you want, but it's all county jobs.
And many times it's to drive the trucks. They need a commercial driver's license for starters.
Yes. We generally need drivers all the time. They don't have it announced all the time. I don't know. I tried to check for today and I wasn't able to. I had a problem with accessing the website. Probably my computer needs to be rebooted. But yeah, you can check it regularly. You can actually apply without applying. You can actually fill out an application and have it without in the system without necessarily applying for a specific job, as a matter of fact.
And that's men and women, right?
Yes.
And you will train them how to drive a truck. Hopefully they already know how to do that.
They have to know how to drive a truck.
Yep.
They have to have a CDL license, the commercial driver's license, but we'll train them on the specifics of a garbage truck.
And if people enjoy a joystick, they can do it all day long
Yes.
with cameras and mirrors, all right?
Yes.
And be able to do that. And there's seats on both sides, depending on how they want.
And steering wheel
Oh, seats and
on
steering
both.
wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole setup.
Yep. And the pedals, of course.
Think about all the spouses, how much fun they could have driving a vehicle like that, each telling the other how to drive.
We're turning left here. No, we're turning right.
So again, we're going to wrap up in just a couple minutes. Again, so things that people need to be aware of, the bulky waste pickup, they need to do that in advance. They can book it by 311 or going to this
miamidade.gov/solid waste.
And then you can figure it out yourself. It's really simple, all right? And if you get frustrated, just get out of there and dial 311. And you can book your, whatever's open, you'll be able to do that.
Yes.
A couple days to a week to 2 weeks at a time.
Depends on what the demand is like at a given moment.
Well, we know that most of the storms occur in August, September for us. And so we hope that this season will be a pleasant one for us, right? The best storm for everything is, pretend you're going to come this way and then go out into the ocean.
And just stay out in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, that's the best.
Frank Calderon, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Appreciate it. And many thanks to Rachelle for producing the show. Again, folks, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a good day.